guys, it's 2020. Welcome to the very first Lunch with Laura of this decade. Super excited to have you guys with us today. I want to welcome, of course, all of our new members that have come in over the last couple of weeks since the holidays. And I hope everyone had a wonderful, restful holiday, a great new year, and 2020 is off to a roaring start for you. I know it is for me. I literally feel like I have so much energy. I just want to kind of like burst out of my skin because I did take that much needed downtime over the holidays, but now I'll tell you guys, it was really hard. Good Lord, I in the very beginning, I had to literally just pull myself away from opening the computer other than checking email, it was really hard to back off, but I did it. And I'll tell you what, I feel amazing now. So I hope you guys have the same enthusiasm that I do for this year. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to talk this month. We're going to really kind of dive into what you really need to start a virtual assistant business. And the reason I thought we would start the year out with this is because that's why most of you are here. You're either brand new to the space, you're just getting started, or you've been at it for a while. And, sometimes things just maybe aren't rolling the way you thought that they would, or maybe you are thriving and you're here to just, lend support wherever you can, which is awesome. We love those. But no matter why you're here, I think every one of our Facebook Lives, you always can pick up a little nugget of something that you can take away and hopefully use to build and grow your business. So this month, we are going to really focus on those building blocks for your business. So today, we are going to talk about the 6 essential steps to starting your virtual assistant business. And the reason that I think these are the most essential steps is because I think, in my opinion, and I have to tell you guys, I am this year officially in my 23rd year of doing this kind of work. So I've been around the block, and I know that when you implement these 6 steps, especially if you're just getting started, this is what's really going to make it real for you. And then you can really get into building that foundation for your business. So we're going to go over those 6 essential steps to starting your business and really making it real today. And then next week, we're going to talk about the 6 steps to building your business. So what you really need to do on the inside. And then the week of the 21st, we are going to go over the 4 must-have processes for your virtual assistant business. And the 28th, the 4 steps to market your business. And then when we get into February, we're going to go over sales and, upselling and all of that fun stuff. So I want to walk you guys through what I think is really going to help you, especially if you're brand new or if you haven't taken some of these steps yet. It really does help really etch this in stone for you. So one of the first most essential steps, which for some people it's like, well, yeah, but some people don't actually take this step, and that is naming your business. So putting a name to your business and being able to register it with your Secretary of State. And there's a lot of reasons why I think this is really important. First of all, it makes you so much more of a real entity when you have a business name, right? And you have some type of business structure in place. So, and I don't want you to fall down a rabbit hole trying to name your business, because even though sometimes, we want something really cute, like, I don't know, coffee something with Janet, or I don't know, whatever. But if you have like a really cutesy name, that's all it is. It's a cute name, but it's not really telling anybody what you do. So make it as simple as possible. And I'm going to give you a couple suggestions and kind of tell you how I've structured mine. So when I very first started, I was just Laura LaCursey LLC, and that was it. And it was not clear what I did, right? This is when I started the agency. It just was not clear on, that I was a virtual assistant agency. So I started out as Laura LaCursey LLC and quickly realized that, nobody had any idea what that meant, even though you could have a tagline or something. But keep it simple, but let people know what you do. So it could be Laura LaCursey's Virtual Assistant Services, or it could be Laura LaCursey's Graphic Design Center, or, whatever your specialty is. Try to marry that into your name, or at least have a tagline underneath it. So if you're going to be, Laura LaCursey LLC, virtual assistant for attorneys, or, something like that. But so naming your business is really important. And there's a couple other things that go along with that. So you want to file this once you get, once you figure out a name. And I'll tell you what, sometimes it could take you writing out 25, 30, 35, 40 names until something really clicks or makes sense with you. And don't stop yourself. Just start writing. Don't even think about it. Just throw the first things, that come out and put them on paper, and then start going through and figure out what's going to work best for you. And then another thing too to remember when you're doing that is take a peek and see if that is available for like your website domain, so that you have an email address, so that everything matches. But so naming, and register that name with your Secretary of State. And then what goes along with that is deciding if you're going to be an LLC or a sole proprietorship. And because you need to be able to file that paperwork. I know when I did it with the state of Ohio, I filed that all right through the state. Some people, get legal advice on that, which is fine. But I just wanted to go over a couple things about the differences real quick too between an LLC and a sole proprietorship. So an LLC, you're going to pay filing fees, which you will for a sole proprietorship as well. But LLC records are also, your records and your funds need to be completely separate from any of your personal accounts, records, and funds. So you need to make sure that you have that separation. And when you are an LLC, I am an LLC. I know a lot of people are an LLC. There's a lot of, there's a little more legal protection with an LLC than there is with a sole proprietorship. But you can also, as you grow, and even if you grow into an agency at some point, you can actually file your taxes either as a sole proprietor, which, you can just file. You would have your separate like Schedule C for your LLC, but then you would still file your taxes normally. But you can file it as a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or a corporation. So my suggestion is go with the LLC. But again, if you want legal advice on that, I advise you to do that. So making it clear in your business name what you do, making sure that you register that with your Secretary of State, and then deciding what type of structure you're going to have behind it. So the LLC, sole proprietorship, to get you guys started, okay? Next, once you have that done, you want to obtain an EIN number. And this is basically a social security number, if you will, for your business. But the beauty of an EIN number, A, it's free. And B, when you are working with other people, like clients are going to want a W-9 from you, wherever else you might be applying for, different licenses or something like that. You can use your EIN number and not your social security number, which I feel is a little added layer of protection for yourself. So go to the IRS website, obtain that EIN number, which you have to have your company filed with your Secretary of State first before you can do that. That's why we're kind of going in this order. And then go ahead and just file it. It's automatic. It's free. You're going to get it right away. You can actually, same thing with your Secretary of State, at least with Ohio. I got my certificate that day, filed the EIN, got the EIN that day. And then this way, it's real, it's legit. You're a business, you have a day that you can mark on the calendar. If you do it today on January 7th of 2021, you will be celebrating a full year in business. So that's like, whether it's a thriving business or you're just getting started, it doesn't matter. A win is a win, right? So register your name and then get that EIN number. And then next is, and I don't want people to be like, oh, but create a business plan. And you don't have to spend months and months and months creating a business plan. You can create a real simple one-page business plan, but you really want to, even if you want to think of it as like, as just maybe a little extended version of goal setting. For your business, but you really want to sit down and you want to give yourself a roadmap to follow so that you can stay on track and kind of lay out, do a little bit of research. There's a lot of different pieces to a business plan, but you really can start out with a very simple one-page business plan that's going to give you direction. And it's going to kind of help you stay on track as you go through your virtual assistant journey. I think it's a really important piece that a lot of people tend to overlook, or they get too overwhelmed with it. But it is a crucial step that you really should take so that you do have something. Again, it just helps to really set that sucker in stone and have something to follow as you move along in your journey. Once you have that, then you want to look into sorry, I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I just lost my train of thought here. Oh, right. So, and this is why the business plan is so important, because it's going to help you with this next step, which is deciding whether you should use an RFP or a contract. So an RFP is a request for a proposal. Now, not everybody does this anymore, but if you are on certain websites that are, like those freelance sites, and you are trying to submit to do work for somebody who has a job, out there, some people still want a request for proposal. So, and those are really, those are really simple. You can find samples of those online. Or do you want to go with the contract? I have always used a contract myself. I've never actually gone the RFP route, but it all depends on how you're getting started and how you're going to structure your business. So I really highly suggest, though, that if you are going to do a contract, go to a site like LegalZoom. It's super affordable. And they can put a contract together specifically for you. And this way you protect yourself. And you can protect your clients in there as well. And especially when you have, clauses in there about confidentiality, because that always, and clients still might have you sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, depending on who you're working for and the type of work you're doing. But just always have I just always suggest having some type of contract, some type of signed document that makes somebody accountable and liable if there are any problems or issues. And it also can help protect you with billing. Now, usually it's a little more expensive to actually go after somebody than not. But, to me, it's like having health insurance, car insurance. Doesn't mean you're always going to use it, but it's just really good to have if you need it. So. And then the next thing to do is to go and set up a business bank account. And you cannot do this unless you have registered your name with your state and you have that EIN number. I shouldn't say that. You actually can do it with your social security number, but if you're doing this right, do it all at the same time. So set up your bank account with your EIN number and your name, and you're going to need to bring, both pieces of paper with you when you set that up. But I'll tell you what, you set up that business account, it is so real now at this point, right? And there's so many different ways that, we could talk about how to structure those. But in the very beginning, I would just, simplify it for yourself, set up two. Set up a checking account, something that has a debit card attached to it where you can accept payments, something that, you can make outgoing payments to when you need to, and a savings account so that you can be at least putting money aside for, taxes and other things that you might be saving for. So go to the bank, set up that business banking account with your, proper information, and you're going to be really glad that you did. And then the last one that I just like to touch base on, and it is not something everybody uses. It is not something everybody does. But again, to me, this is like health insurance and car insurance as well. And that is professional liability insurance. And I'll tell you what, I can see the tides will be turning soon because there are so many online businesses. It used to be something that a lot of insurance companies, like if you had your homeowner's insurance with State Farm, they would just insure you for this liability insurance. But like I know personally, State Farm does not do that anymore. They stopped doing that years ago. So you want to do a little bit of research and you want to go with a trusted agent. Maybe your agency does not, doesn't provide that type of insurance, but see if they have a recommendation on somebody that does or another company that you could reach out to. And really, it's just in case something should happen. It's in case somebody does come back and, something should happen to their records while you were working with them, or they decide that they're going to sue you because they're just angry. And trust me, I've been threatened to be sued not a million times. I'm sorry, that's actually an exaggeration, but I have been threatened to be sued before. And I'll tell you what, it's really nice to have that liability insurance because it will cover you for, up to $1 million in, or whatever you get it to cover you for. But it could be legal fees, or it could be, if you have the cyber insurance or what have you, your computer gets hacked and somebody's information, a client that you're working with gets hacked. So there's just a lot of things to think about with that insurance. And again, like I said, a lot of people get started because they can't afford it right away. It's not cheap. But it is something that I would encourage you if you have been in business for a while and you don't have it yet, or you are starting to build up a client base. It's really a good thing to have, just, something again to fall back on. So I hope these 6 steps were, helpful to you. We'll just go over them again real quick. So number 1, name your business, register it with your Secretary of State, and then decide the structure of the legal structure, LLC or a sole proprietorship. Obtain that EIN number from the IRS website. It is free. You will, just to go back to the naming your business, there are going to be filing fees. They're pretty minimal. And one other thing I wanted to mention on the naming your business is if you do find yourself down a rabbit hole with that, just go ahead and pick a name that you want to get started with. And if down the road you decide to change it, all you have to do is file a DBA, which is doing business as. So you could still be underneath that initial company that you created, but you could be doing business as, if you went from being let's say just virtual assistant services to a social media manager and you wanted to change your name to reflect that, you can do business as, Jane Doe's social media services or something like that. So just know there is usually a filing fee for that, but it's minimal. You're not starting all over again, and everything is still structured under that main company that you started. And then again, the LLC sole proprietorship, obtain that EIN number, get that certificate, create that business plan. Again, don't fall down a rabbit hole with this one either. Just Google one-page business plan if you don't have anything started or you've never even looked into it before. Google it, fill out the sections, get as much of that filled in as you can, and start getting that structure in place for your business. Decide if you're going to do an RFP or a contract, and you're going to be able to do that by going back and reflecting on the business plan that you put together. Set up that business bank account. I would, I would do 2, a checking and a savings. Look into the professional liability insurance just to have that extra protection for yourself. So again, next week we are going to go over these 6 steps to building that thriving virtual assistant business. So the building blocks that actually are going to go into building it. We got you started today. Next week we're going to start building it. Then the next week will be the 4 must-have processes for your business. And the 28th, we are going to round out the month with marketing your VA business. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week. And I will see you guys back here next Tuesday for another Lunch with Laura. Take care, everyone.